Howdy gang, my name is Trailblazer Tim and I am a full-time RVer. Today I want to take just a few moments and let you know some of the hacks that I've had to come up with that have made life a little bit easier when it comes to being full-time in an RV. I just recently became full-time in my RV, my 24-foot Dutchman Kodiak travel trailer about 2 weeks ago, and I'm learning stuff every day. So let me share them with you. Things kind of happen fast for me as becoming a full-time RVer, but when they did happen, going through this whole pandemic thing and stuff like that, it was very difficult to try to find a place for me to go and park because nobody was letting any RVs into place. I found a local county park that has a campground, and that's where I'm staying, but it's only for a limited amount of time. But these are times and moments that I'm learning on how to be ready when I can soon to get into a full-time RV park. So let's get started. Now, moving out of a $250,000 house in a private little neighborhood was a decision I had to make. You know, the wife and I decided to go our own way. She got the house, and this is what I decided to do, is become full-time in my RV. This is my starter series. It's a 24-foot travel trailer. I work full-time job and stuff here locally in town, but it's still something that I had to really learn about. And one of the most things that is important when it comes to being full-time, especially in a small travel trailer, is utilizing your space. Now, one of the things, if you're becoming a full-time RVer, you're going to have to understand, especially if you're in a smaller travel trailer, is some of the things and the conveniences that you are used to living in a house and stuff might not exactly work out the same way, especially if you're on a budget and stuff. I threw out the old Keurig, left it with the wife and everything, and I bought myself a single serve, 4-cup Mr. Coffee. That means I have to brew my own coffee. Yeah, it's a little bit of a pain in the butt, but the cost effectiveness when dollars count, this saves me at least $30 to $40 a month. I'm like having to buy the K-cups with the Keurig and stuff. I just use my regular coffee I like, which usually costs about $4 for a pound, and I can live off that coffee for 2 full weeks for $4 with a little bit of cream and sugar and stuff. Unlike a Keurig pack that usually will cost you about $12 to $13, it's only going to last you about a week and a half. Save money, save space. Speaking of such, the stuff that you keep on your counter is very premium. You don't want to have to pull them up, pick them down and stuff. I got towels down here, and the two main things that I use in the morning time every morning is going to be my coffee pot as well as my toaster. Inside of my kitchen area is my countertop. It is premium space. So this is my sink with my granite countertops. Both areas come out. I do not use my kitchen sink unless I'm filling like my coffee pot up. I'll show you why I use the water inside of here, and I'll show you how to do that. But this is premium space. So this is area that I can make and prep my foods and stuff. I keep myself a nice towel. If you look over here, I've got a custom made fit cutting board that goes over top of my stove, which acts as more counter space because I do not use the propane in my stove or my oven. I do not use the plumbing inside of my kitchen sink because I don't want the grease and all that other garbage going down into my gray tank. I'm a plumber by trades. That's what I do, what I know, as well as I'm not going to waste my propane on a stovetop. So that way I put a cutting counter down here so I could have more space and a little bit more storage. Only things I'm going to use on an everyday basis, such as spices, chips, and breads, and that's just about it. Now, coming into being a full-time RVer, I had about 4.5 months to get my act together and to get this RV ready. And I knew I wasn't taking very much with me, but storage is very, very important, such as my overhead bins that you see here. The lighting's kind of bad and stuff. If you can look up inside of there, I've got a slow cooker as well as a single burner so I can heat up a pot, as well as my Tupperwares and all that other good stuff. Let's open this one up and I'm going to show you. Storage is premium. I've got my soups. I've got containers up there that I'll show you as well, full of grits, more coffee, as well as oatmeal, all that good stuff, everything. And one of the biggest staples if you're going full-time in an RV, especially by yourself, is to buy food that is non-perishable and stuff that'll go a long ways, such as minute rice and soups. Now, being a full-time RVer and working full-time, laundry can accumulate, especially the type of job that I work at as a plumber. Clothes can get a little bit stinky. So in order to keep the smell down, I take my hamper and I keep it inside of my shower. See that? And then I've deodorized this, even if I have to, with a little bit of air spray, just to make sure that the smell isn't there. You know, a hot day, your socks might smell a little bit. You might have been rolling around in something that don't smell so good, but at least this is isolated and we're not stinking up the whole joint. Now there are products that you can buy to add to your storage, such as this little hang over the door storage area that you can hang on the door of your bathroom, as well as underneath each one of these seats that are at my dinette, and underneath my bed, half of it is a storage unit. Not to mention, I have 2 drawers that are designated for my everyday as well as work clothes that are in there, close by. Also, I've hung some of those guys up so I can have my keys and all my other good stuff. And don't try to stuff your refrigerator full of all your drinks and stuff. I drink Powerade during the week. Utilize your space as good as you possibly can instead of stuffing it all full in that refrigerator. Now you got no room for anything else. Building extra shelves inside of your little pantry area. I have over a year's worth of dry goods inside of that cabinet, as well as up inside of this bin of foods, where if I absolutely had to, I could live off of and not have to go to the grocery store. It's called planning. All the extras and overflow will go down in areas such as like underneath your sink. I've got rice, potatoes, and cereal, as well as drinks and all the extra goodies and stuff like that. Utilize your space to the most of your ability. Trying to keep up with all of the dirt that you track into your RV or travel trailer, especially if you're full-time and stuff. If you got kids and animals, it's going to be a whole different story. You're going to have to stay up on it all the time. So I'm not the kind of guy who likes to take my shoes off unless I'm ready to go to bed. That's just the way I am. Some people say take shoes off before you come in. Well, I don't. And at this campground that I'm staying at, it's actually little shells that they made a pad out of. Every time I walk through it, especially if it's rain and stuff, it collects my shoes, and I get these little tiny shells that are all over my floor. And I have to sweep my RV out on a daily basis, sometimes twice a day. But it doesn't hurt to put yourself a couple little placemats, especially in an area where you might be standing, prepping food, as well as the entryway when you come in, well before you drag all that stuff in. Now you can't keep all the stuff out. That's why you got to stay up on things and make sure that you don't bring all that stuff in with you. Now, believe it or not, it doesn't matter where you live, you're going to end up getting probably some sugar ants. Buy yourself some taro strips and set them in areas where you think there's going to be little ants. I've got them setting up in here in areas. See that? All right, it's always a good bet to keep that there, especially if you start seeing little sugar ants. Put them in an area. Try to keep down with the critters that come in and out. Now, I live in a part of the country that is high humidity usually all the time, and it's hot. Central Florida. There are mixed ideas and thoughts about this, but I'm a firm believer, especially in a hot climate with a lot of humidity and stuff like that, keep your windows closed and your vents closed, and circulate yourself with a fan and air conditioning at all times. The least amount of times that you got to leave your door open, the humidity stays out. You don't start getting your woodwork in here warping and stuff. Now, there are things you can do. I've got a small dehumidifier as well as damp rid and all that other stuff in here. But if you keep things closed up, you can keep things nice and cool and the air at a quality where it's nice and dry and stuff like that. The more you open up your windows, the more you're inviting critters and ants and little pests to come in, as well as all that humidity and stuff that's going to come in and start wearing down on your components and stuff inside of your travel trailer. Now we're going to go back to the whole idea I was talking to you about space being premium. A lot of you RVers think that it's very necessary. Now, I can see if you're boondocking, that's one thing, but if you're shore power at a campground or you're at a full-time RV spot and everything like that, you take all your space up by throwing a bunch of bottled water and all that other good stuff and everything. Take the time, get yourself a little filter. Yeah, it's one more thing to think about, but I can actually comfortably drink the water out of my RV for coffee and all that other good stuff without having to take all my storage area up with cases of bottled water. Now, it's good to have some bottled water on hand and stuff like that that you can put in your refrigerator and drink or do this and that. But if you have a decent filter and stuff, it'll make it so you can actually drink very good quality water and stuff on top of having a little pressure regulator, which we had talked about in another video. These things cost about $17, $18, and they're going to last you a couple months, whatever. And it just saves space and it saves time and less of a headache. I don't do my dishes inside of my RV travel trailer because I don't want all that grease and garbage stuff going down in my tank. Thus, when I'm at my utility and I hook up at the park or wherever I'm at, I just hook up and I've got a little Y connection right here with 2 individual shut-off valves. One of them is going to go for my fresh potable water that is going in through my water filter, which I just showed you, that feeds the RV. The second one is a short little hose that I have here, a little sprayer. And on top of that, I have a little bin that I put my dishes in, and I do my dishes out here with soap and water and clean it all off. That way it keeps it all condensed in one area. We're not boogering the house up or getting all that stuff down inside our thing. So if you're going to end up getting into this kind of lifestyle, there's no shame in the game. When you're getting ready to get set up, get yourself a little Y connection. That way you can have something to clean your dishes and wash things out, as well as fresh potable water that goes into your travel trailer. Let's not forget about the waste. This is my sewer line, as well as my little ramp pieces that come down here that graduates my sewer at a pitch where it can go into the septic. You don't want to just laying on the ground and just kind of dragging its way back up, because things won't drain the same way when you're getting ready to empty your black and your gray tank. You want it to gradually suspend its way down until it goes in and nothing is stuck left inside of these sewer pipes. Well, that's all the time I got for this one. Appreciate you guys hanging out and seeing what I've been up to lately and stuff. Well, this isn't as glamorous as of having a home and stuff, and you know, a lot of people that have RVs, they like coming out for the weekend to the campground or whatever, and then when they're done, they go back to home and the reality and the things they're used to every day. This is home for me, and I've had to make a lot of adjustments and a lot of decisions, take a lot of things into consideration, and just get rid of stuff. All right, after a while, accumulation of stuff. And I've got my essentials of what I need in here. Money is of the essence, space is of the essence, and peace of mind. So keep things in mind before you decide to go full-time. We're not talking about boondocking. We're talking about full-time in an RV, whether it's in a campground or possibly an RV park. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. I'll see you all in the next adventure. Take care.